Watched Justice League. Very disappointing. Very disappointed. I mean, it was a good movie. You could tell they blew like fucking a shitload. It had a huge budget. Not a fan. Not a fan of... I mean, The Flash was kind of weak. I'm not a fan of the Joss Whedon comedy. I mean, I like Buffy. I like Angel. Sick fuck. I like Angel more. Better show. Get over it. I mean, that type of Joss Whedon style, kind of funny, lighthearted, dark humor, that's fine in Buffy and Angel. It's welcome. It's not welcome anywhere close to DC movies. Get out of here. If I want jokes, I'll go watch the Hulk. I'll go watch fucking Thor or some bullshit from Marvel. I'll go watch Iron Man crack some jokes. Huh? I'll go watch Spider-Man crack some jokes as he figures out who he is. I want fucking established motherfucking troubled characters with dark stories, with fucking brooding serious shit. I don't want this bullshit. Get out of here. Man of Steel was better. Zack Snyder, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Sometimes you gotta forget about the numbers, because guess what? Putting Joss Whedon in there didn't fix the movie. Alright? It made it worse. Alright? People saying Man of Steel was bad, Batman vs. Superman was bad. Okay, guess what? Justice League's worse than those two movies. Wherever they scale on your podium of movies, Justice League's worse than those two. In my opinion, Man of Steel, real good movie. Hands down, out of the new 3 ones, hands down the best. Batman vs. Superman, I mean, yeah, it's good. It's a typical like action fighting movie. But it was good. It was better than... I would watch that shit over Justice League again. And so people had complaints about Batman vs. Superman, where it's just like, oh, there's too much happening. There's not enough character development. There's just too much stuff happening. It's all just a big mashup. And there's just too much shit. It's a giant quagmire, right? So they're like, okay. We're going to fire the guy who made that movie halfway through Justice League, and we're going to add in this other guy. I have no issues with Joss Whedon, right? He's a fucking gangster. Cabin in the Woods, sickest movie. Sick fuck. He's a good director. He's a good fucking dude. Like, he makes good shit. This wasn't the movie to put him on, especially when it's already half done, or like 60% down, whatever the fuck it was. That's how I rank that shit. Like, Justice League at the bottom, Batman vs. Superman, arguably, some people might say is better than Man of Steel. From my perspective, I'm a giant Superman. I mean, like, I'm a fucking Superman fan, right? I love Batman too, but like, Superman just takes it up a notch. Like, and it's not, you see, you gotta remember that it's not, it's the whole package, right? It's not just who's stronger, who's cooler, who's smarter, who's like whatever. Like, it's the whole package. Batman's way smarter. In the comics, he's got like infinite intelligence, infinite resources. Batman's richer, Batman's smarter. He's a genius. He's better at fucking fighting. Like, he's I don't know, somebody who's like deep into that shit, it like told me Batman studied in the comics. Batman studied like some form of martial art that's like unbeatable. Like, no one can fucking take him out. He's the single motherfucking guy, like, unbeatable in hand-to-hand combat. And he's got the money. He's got the prep time. He wins every time, right? He's always coming in prepared. He always wins. Even if he loses, he planned to lose. Like, he's got a contingency for everything. Superman, on the other end, is pretty much a god. He's invincible, except for this one rock. But let's not even talk about Batman versus Superman, who's better, because it's like you can dance in that little circle for all eternity. What I'm talking about here is the whole package, all right? Superman's, you know, he doesn't have Batman's resources. He doesn't need them. He doesn't have the prep time. He doesn't have the smarts. So he's lacking in that department. I mean, he's not an idiot, but no one comes close to Batman or Bruce Wayne. Doesn't have the hand-to-hand combat, but he doesn't need it, right? So the physicality is taken care of. Now we get into like, who are they and what do they represent, right? And Batman's a fucking strong symbol. Like, that shit, like what he stands for and what he fights for and what he represents and his whole thing, that's amazing. It's And it appeals to me, it appeals to a lot of other people, and to some people it appeals a little bit more to them than Superman does, in which case I'm just gonna break it down. I like them both. Batman's a motherfucking gangster. I have Batman shirts. I've worn Batman shirts. I have a goddamn Batman wallet. It's 2 pieces of metal just holding cards together. Batman's a gangster, but for me personally, Superman just, when we're talking about like what they stand for and what they represent and like that whole like back thing, forget about their abilities. Let's pretend they're both regular guys, same job, same upbringing, same smarts, whatever, doesn't matter. What they stand for, like Superman is just like this kind of like, well, they said in the movie, he's a beacon, right? He's a thing that he's literally like, if you want to get into like religion, he's the Jesus figure. He's the savior, right? He's that thing. And when you want to talk about that, like what does that represent? Like, okay, you can be like, oh, Jesus, blah blah blah. He didn't exist. He didn't do that. Didn't do this. We're not talking about. We talk about the Bible. It's symbolism, right? So it could be Jesus. It could be anybody, any hero in folk history, any like Zeus, Hercules, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? When you talk about that kind of shit, that's what Superman is. Like he's like that. He's that ideal of like what everybody wants to strive to be. He's literally like the sun, right? We look to the sun, and even though we can't look at it directly, because it'll kill us or damage our vision. But the sun, he's literally, that's why he gets his power from the sun. I'm looking at this whole like in different levels and shit. Like he's a beacon. He represents, to me, I think he represents more what my values and stuff are, slightly more than what Batman does. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I'm a Superman guy over a Batman guy. I'm a Batman guy too. I'm a Batman and Superman guy, both of them. Fuck everybody else. Those guys are the gangsters, right? But if you really want to get down to it, I'm answering the tough question here. It's like just ever so slightly, I would go Superman, because I just tend to agree with what he stands for and what he is a little bit more. Even though fuck, I'll be the first one to line up and be fucking Batman. Give me that shit. I fucking love that guy's backstory and shit. That shit's gangster. Are you kidding me right now?